Welcome back. It's your best friends. It's Austin and
It's Sean.
that's my boy right
It
there.
is your best friends.
It is your best friends, and this is episode number 47,
See a little cattail coming?
or is it 46?
This is 46. This one's
Thank you. All
46.
right. Well, I have exciting news before we get it going. In the next 3 weeks, I don't know which week, but for real this time, we're gonna have our next guest in the next 3 weeks.
Let's
So
go. I'm so
he
excited for this
is.
one. As
He's.
excited as I was for the other ones, to be clear.
I'm excited for this one too, though, as well. Yeah, I'm very excited for this one.
Yes.
So be looking forward for that in the next uh man, be looking forward to that in the next 3 weeks. I said for that. All right, anyway.
Looking forward
So
for
you
it.
want to talk about the topic of today's podcast, Sean?
Yeah, today's podcast is it's
Brought to you by
brought to you
cloudmusicsuite.com.
by cloudmusicsuite.com. With this code, we don't have a code, but we are going to basically give you a stream of consciousness episode. Today's topic is pretty much whatever comes to our brain.
Yeah, random thoughts.
Random
We're going to
thoughts.
start it off with 2 questions from Sean that he wanted to ask me.
Well, first, didn't you want to talk about how, like, when you post,
Oh,
this
yeah,
is what
yeah.
you do when
So
you post videos?
on my main channel, like I'll put so much time and effort and care into a video, and it'll be like nice and long. It's like 17 minutes or something. Just totally like value packed, like the most amount of gems I can drop within a 17-minute span. I like pare it down. I cut down all the fluff. If something didn't make sense that I was saying while I was recording, I cut it out, make a nice spot to cut it at. I go frame by frame. I add like pictures to help explain the things I'm talking about, like little graphics and stuff. I'll add like a little funny meme or something, a short video on the side. It's like soundless video to the right side of me, something like that. They're always like the worst performing videos on my channel. And like those are the ones where even the thumbnail, like I put effort in the thumbnail. I find these little icons, like I these little icons on the thumbnail. It's like killing it. And then it's like average amount of views. And then I post one that it's like 6 minutes long. I do like one edit total. I talk about like one topic, best performing video on my channel in the history of the channel. And the thumbnail is just me like this. That's it. Like no nothing, no editing. It's literally right here. Like that's where I took the thumbnail. It's not like I have a nice background.
Yeah.
It's just all this crap in the background.
Yeah.
So
Do you
frustrating.
think it's a time
Anyway, so we'll
thing?
see. I think this one right here, no, because some of the like really intense, like researched ones are shorter as well.
Oh,
So I've
okay.
looked at the time. It's like really it doesn't seem that time dependent. I don't have a big enough sample size, honestly. I've only posted like a handful of videos, but I don't have a big enough sample size to really tell. But based on current, what I see is no, it's not necessarily based on time.
That's art for you, baby.
Yeah,
Most of the popular music that occurs
I
has come
know.
from
Isn't that crazy?
calculated.
Such a good point. Such a good
Uh,
point.
they learn the fundamentals of music, but then they break the rules. You know what I mean? And then they also stumble onto things and make they have accidents, and that's what creates
Yeah,
some of the better songs. I'm sure that's the same
crazy.
with other art. It is crazy.
Oh, for sure. Well, anyway, this will probably be our best performing video in the history of the channel. So
I
it's
hope
got to
so.
beat the Danger Coffee episode above 500. So
Yeah.
it's gotta beat that one.
Like
Well, anyway, what's your first topic?
well, my first topic is because it just popped into my head is would you ever do a podcast by yourself? Like, would you ever take
Yeah,
your YouTube thing and like transition it to a podcast, or have you ever thought about adding a podcast to the mix?
I wouldn't transition my main channel to a podcast because I do think there's a lot of potential for it, and like the shorter form, like 7 to 13 minute videos, I think could do really well. I just gotta like figure out the search engine, like, and how to get it ranked a lot better. And like seems seems pretty fleeting. And like a video will do great for like 3 days, and then it gets no more views after that. It's like it's weird, like what gets picked up and when it gets picked up. So
Yeah.
I don't think I would change my main channel into one, but would do a podcast that's just completely by myself, like not interviewing anyone. Is that what you mean?
Yeah. Just
Yeah, I
like
would do it.
monologue.
One of my favorite Yeah, one of my favorite podcasts is the Peter Schiff Show, and it's very much like financial related, but it doesn't have to be. It wouldn't have to be just that. But I mean, dropping gems, like so
Yeah.
many, and they're like 45-minute monologues. Sometimes there's a cut or an edit in them. Sometimes it's literally just him going off on some topics. And yeah,
Yeah.
I would consider it.
Okay. I was just curious, thinking about the YouTube thing.
Yeah,
180. You got a new board game this week. How was it?
I did, dude. I did get a new board game this week. I got a board game that we played together. You showed me this game. It's called Ticket to Ride. So let's do a review of Ticket to Ride. We can put that in the title there.
That's a good idea.
So,
Ticket to
uh,
Ride review.
first of all, I think that it's in terms of length, it's pretty long. Like the games can be pretty long, but it's not as long as like Monopoly or something like marathon type like that.
Yeah.
So I think it's reasonably long for the game. And then I do think there's a pretty good amount of strategy to it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think the more a game is up to luck in general, the more frustrating it is to me. So there is a decent amount of strategy. So you basically have these little train cars. Like I think there's a maximum of 5 players, if I'm not mistaken. You
Yeah.
can help me out on this. So you have these little train cars, and each person has their own specific color of train cars. So like if your game piece is black that you move around the outside border for tracking your points. If your game piece is black, so are your train cars. And then you get these cards, card, train
Car
cards,
cards.
right? Yeah, and you can like, let's say you have a route of 5 trains, and you have to get 5 of these cards, all of the same color, or there's like a rainbow option that's any color, and then you cash them in. That's your turn, and then you have to do the whole route from one city to another on the map of the United
Mm-hmm.
States in one turn, and you can't do like a partial of the route. You have to do the whole thing. So you pick up where I left off because you know the game a lot better than me. But I just wanted to.
Yeah. Once you like set out that your train car pieces, that's like associated. The amount that you set down is associated with like a point value. So like I think it's like 1 train car is 1, 2 train cars is 2, 3 is 4, 5 is 10, and 6 is 15. I think that's the numbers.
Something like that. I think you missed
Yeah.
one in the middle there. 4 is 7.
Or 4 is 7. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, so the idea is to get the maximum amount of points, and that's one way to do it. And the other way to do it is these like route cards that you get at the beginning of the game that basically show like 2 different cities on the map. And if you connect those 2 cities in one way or the other, you get the points associated on that card, which
Yeah,
can
like Miami to
help
Boston
you.
with no breaks in between.
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And if you get that, those points get added to your total at the end. But if you don't, they get subtracted at the end. So there's definitely like, motivation to um,
Yeah.
focus on those routes.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
like it. I like it
it's
a
a good
lot.
game. It's a good game. It's a my brother showed me that one, and it's definitely one of my favorites, especially for people who aren't big. Like I'm a pretty big board game nerd. I have a lot of different board games that range in complexity, and some people aren't into the like really complex ones like I am. But that one is like it feels newer than things like Monopoly, and it's also like very simple. And yes, it's long, but it's like such a simple game with the ability to have a strategy that you can come back to every time you play, which I
Yeah,
really like.
I think it's simple enough for a first time player to enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's important.
Yes.
Yeah, I like it. If I had to give it like a scale, like a rating from 1 to 10, I'd give it a 9. Whole
Yeah.
numbers only. I'd give it a
I,
9. Yeah.
I was thinking an 8. Um. Yeah. Really,
What do you
really
think
up
is it?
there.
What do you think is a 10? Is there anything that's a 10? Any board
Hmm.
games?
I. I mean, this is purely taste, but that game we played, Moonrakers, I think is a 10.
Yeah. I think it's
I
good.
I think the reason, there's a lot of reasons for it, and it includes rule book design. I think designing a rule book for a board game is an art. Like I have a lot of different board games, and there's one on my shelf right now, Windward, super cool board game. The actual book itself is a nightmare to read. Like the when you're trying to find a topic in there, it's like where it's where you least expect it. Like it's such a pain to like go through and find what you're looking for in regards to the rules. Moonrakers is one, the production's amazing, right? You have those like plastic ship pieces, you have metal coins, you have big cardboard pieces instead of a board, and like the layout is really sick. The flow of play, in my opinion, is really good. The only thing that I think it like, you know, has a fault is like its complexity, but I also kind of think the complexity, I don't think it's that complex. I think it just like looks more complex than it is. Like I
I don't
think
think it's
after a
that
couple
complex.
turns, I think after like a couple turns, most people, I think I've maybe met 2 people that still didn't really grasp it after like the first 2 turns. But after like 2 turns, people are usually like, I understand how this works now.
Yeah.
Because it's unnatural. But I think that's a really good game. I'd put that at a 10 personally.
Dang. Where do you put Monopoly?
Um, a 5.
A 5?
Yeah.
That's so disrespectful.
I don't know. I mean,
Man.
Monopoly. It, it's been a
You
long
know
time
anything
since I
about
played a
basketball?
Monopoly. So I mean, very little.
You know who Michael Jordan is?
Yeah,
I feel like you just said that Michael Jordan like
it's like
sucks in
super mid.
comparison to LeBron. Yeah, you're like, dude, he's from the 90s. Like it's so different back then. Like if LeBron was playing their era, he would just smack them. Like I feel like that's the statement you just made.
Nah,
Like
that's
I think you
fair.
just feel that way because it's old. Like without Monopoly, there's no Moonrakers, bro.
Well, sure, but but I don't think that necessarily means it's a better. You know, that's like saying Pong is a 10 because without Pong, no other video games would exist.
It's not necessarily true.
How
There would
so?
always be something else that's the Pong.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but there's always be something else that's not Monopoly.
sure. But there's only one Monopoly, and there's only one Michael Jordan.
There certainly is.
Well, here's my opinion.
It's fun. It's just
Monopoly's a 10.
Monopoly's a 10,
Yes.
bro.
Monopoly's a 10.
Why? What are your reasons?
It's just so classic. And what a great idea. A little thing around the edge, properties. You get to buy the property whenever you land on it. If you can't buy the property, it goes to auction. You get to put houses on that baby once you own the whole street. You get to put hotels on that once you got all the houses. It's like it's great. It's capitalism at its finest.
At its finest. Have you played Cash Flow?
I have not. Do you have it?
I don't. I want to get it. My aunt has it. For those who don't know what we're talking about, Robert Kiyosaki is a financial influencer, if you want to say it.
Wizard.
He wrote some books about real estate and about
Yeah.
managing money. Rich Dad Poor Dad is his most famous. And he made a board game called Cash Flow, which is designed to teach you all about liabilities and assets and stuff like that. Yeah, my aunt has a copy and she loves it. I've never played it. No, I really want to try it.
Yeah, we should do it.
Yeah. Oh, show.
I'd slap you.
Learn about the assets and liabilities, baby.
Oh, speaking of assets and liabilities, look at this.
Oh yeah, tell me about that watch.
It's a watch. And I got it for Christmas.
Nice.
For my lady.
Nice.
It's black and gold, and it matches my black and gold briefcase.
Oh, word.
Yeah.
Have you worn it to school yet?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are the kids like, dang, Mr. Thompson?
Yes.
Nice. Nice. I gotta watch
everything though, so
that's fair.
You did? Let me see.
I don't have it on right now.
You are such a fake friend.
I showed it to you when we got breakfast.
Oh yeah, you did. Yeah,
it's like the wooden watch.
Yep. Okay, yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, it's Tree Hut is the brand. It's like a bamboo watch band and watch itself. And
yeah, I remember.
Super sick.
I recall.
I like that style.
I just poked myself in the eye, by the way.
Nice.
Tried to like touch my head, but I was relying on the camera instead of my actual senses.
Yeah.
So I was looking at the camera and I thought I was here, but I was here and I poked my eye.
Oh, nice. Depth perception 100. All right, bro, you ready? I got a fact or fib for you.
Oh, you do? Let's go. Yeah, I'm ready.
You know when people say like, "Oh, I'm gonna get this done in a jiffy."
Yes.
A jiffy is an actual unit of time referring to 1/100th of a second. Fact or fib?
I'm feeling like why the hell would it be a saying if it's not a real thing? And I'm also feeling like if you gave me a number like that, you wouldn't give me one that's close. You would just give me the number or you would not give me a number. So I'm gonna say fact.
It is a fact.
Oh,
Yeah, fun fact. Jiffy is a unit of time. Yeah, a unit of time.
that's amazing. I'm gonna start using that in chemistry class.
Nice. And then say, "Did you
I'm not.
know?"
I'm not gonna use it.
I can't picture you saying it.
No, I won't say it.
Speaking of class,
Oh my
do
god.
you use you have the kids use laptop?
Sorry. There's another one.
We got another one. We got another one. Sponsored by we're not sponsored by this.
Yeah, I wish. Hey,
Yet.
Liquid Death, sponsor us.
Liquid
Sponsor
Death.
us.
Sponsor us.
Hey guys,
It's good
this
stuff.
is TMG, Tiny Meat Gang, Cody Ko, and Noah Miller.
Noah Miller.
Anyway,
These dudes are funny.
they're
Do you
super funny.
guys do you use laptops in the classroom? Like, do you have your kids use their laptops in your class?
The only reason we'll use laptops is if I don't want to print something and I just post a file. Like if it's like examples, I'll just post a file
Sure.
on like a learning management software, and then they can access it through there. No, it's doing it,
Every
bro.
time.
It's doing it. Let's see if this works. Nope.
So loud.
No, sorry. Yeah, I gotta fix this. It's gonna drive me crazy. It's
All
so
right.
dark in here.
Sick.
HomeBiotic.
While I was talking about that, it is late on our end. And if it's getting late and you're watching this, you should put on some TrueDark glasses to filter out the blue light so that your body is able to get some good rest. So TrueDark, go check out the
Good
links in
job.
the description. Thanks.
Fill in the air with a little bit of advertisement.
Of course, advertisement.
Yes, the internet is undefeated at giving you ads when you don't want them. So you're welcome for that
Exactly.
ad when you
Yeah.
didn't want
Yeah.
it.
Listen, I
Um,
train by listening every day. It's
that's what
not
I
by
like to hear.
choice.
Yeah, exactly. You're so right.
It is not
All
by
right.
choice.
Um, okay, you ready? I got
Yeah.
a question for you. So here's a. I guess we're just gonna go questions back and forth.
Yeah. Okay.
In order to make change, what do you think the most important thing is? On purpose, that's very broad. In
In order
order
to
to change
make
anything in your life, what do you think the most important thing is?
do the most important to actually make the change happen, I think you need to do something, anything that's different from your uh unconscious path. You know what I'm saying? Like you need
Yeah.
to do something, anything that's not the norm. And that could be from a personal life. Like if I want to read 30 minutes a day, reading 10 minutes a day gets me closer to that goal. If my previous goal or my previous like record was 0 minutes a day, you know what I mean? It's not the goal, but it's something, it's anything that gets me into the right direction. If my goal was to read fiction for 30 minutes a day and I was reading nothing for, nothing every day, and I transitioned to 30 minutes of news, that's something. It's not the goal, but it's in the right direction. If I have like bigger like world goal, like let's say I'm a climate activist or something like that, and I feel very strongly about uh climate change and fixing that and thinking other people should be doing certain things. If they don't do the things that they want the world to do, they should probably be doing those things themselves too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think change in general, that would be, I would say that's the most important thing.
So like a micro step in the right direction.
Right.
Okay.
Or in any direction so you can course correct.
Sure.
Staying in one position is worse than moving in a direction and then course correcting.
Well, then why doesn't everyone change? It sounds so simple.
Because it's uncomfortable. It strays from the norm. It's not easy.
Do you think people know why they want to change things? Do you think people always know why? Or what percentage of things that people want to change do they not have a solid reason for? Like, you get what I'm saying?
I think
Like I
so.
tried to
Like
make a
from
change,
a personal standpoint.
sure, something along those lines. But like
I,
I tried to make a change, I failed to make a change. What percentage of all of those two things happening back to back, the person did not have a reason, like a sound reason as to why they wanted to make the change?
it's likely. Uh, I think a high percentage of people don't really know why they want to make the change, or at least it's like a misguided why. Like, like people decide that they want to lose weight because they feel like they should lose weight, but they don't think about like the actual positive impact it might have on their like how they feel, if that makes sense. Um, that's where you're going. that
Oh, it was just a question.
that was my
So
interpretation.
yeah. Okay. Well, I disagree with your like most important thing about how to make a change.
What do you think is the most important?
I think the most important thing in order to make a change is to have enough energy in order to make the decision that is different than the decision that is ingrained within you that is unconscious. So you were saying that you have to break the unconscious pattern that is just the day to day, whatever you're doing that you don't want to be doing anymore by making a small change. But to make one small change and keep that one small change takes energy, right? It
Mm-hmm.
takes like life force that you have to commit to that change. You know what I mean? You have to put some sort of energy from yourself into that change in order to make that thing happen. So like I think having enough energy is number one. And I would say most of all people's problems, even people that are like very close to me in my personal life, I'd say most of the problems that they consistently are having are like energy management or just like full out lack of energy because they know what they want to do. They know why they want to do it. They even know how that they would do it, but they don't feel as though they can take the first step because they're so drained, whether it be mentally, physically, that's up for debate, but probably physically because the brain is part of your physical body, right?
Sure. Yeah.
And your thoughts are dictated by, you know, in a roundabout way, how much energy you have, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I think energy management and gaining more energy would be step one,
Well,
and
how do you
that's a hard
break?
conversation.
I was about to say, so how do you break that cycle
There's a few different
if
ways,
the
but there's
problem
no matter
is
what, you have to be able to pull. There needs to be an extremely easy lever for you to pull, and thankfully, there's a lot of levers. So we've talked on this show before about like eccentric type characters like the Liver King, who just got popped for taking steroids, right? He has this whole, setup where he's like, you deserve to live the best life and have health and vitality and blah, 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 blah. And he says the first thing you should do is to eat liver. I fully disagree that that's the first thing you should do because for the people that really need to hear the message he has, they need an easy lever to pull,
and
like a
liver
very
liver
easy
ain't in
lever
it.
to pull. And raw, eating raw liver, isn't it? Where do you even get grass fed raw liver? Most people can't answer that question. I had to like search for it,
I don't
you
even
know?
know, to be
I
honest.
had to search, I had to scour the internet. And then when I found grass fed organic raw liver, not the cheapest thing in the world. When you find conventional grain fed crap that is garbage and it was from a factory farm cow, sure, it's cheap. You can find it at like Harris Teeter and sometimes Publix, but it looks like shit, smells like shit, it's gross. So, you know, anyway, not the easiest lever to pull. for someone who is a coffee lover, we'll say, Dave Asprey says the easiest lever to pull is to start your morning with bulletproof coffee. And there's a lot of science behind why he says that. And there's even more science that was recently done about exclusion zone water that we should talk about either off air or on air sometime. Super interesting stuff. But it works in a meaningful way for a lot of people to have extra energy. And in order to make that decision, it's pretty easy for them if they're already coffee people. They're already making coffee in the morning. They have to change it up a little bit, blend it, put some grass fed butter in there, and maybe some MCT oil. That's a pretty easy change for them to make. So I would say that's a much better first step for a lot of people. Some people's first step could be taking a little bit of salt, like sea salt, in their palm and drinking or eating that salt off their palm in the morning and then drinking a full glass of water. That can be a big step for people to get that salt in your system so you can spike your blood pressure so you can actually wake up because you need to elevate a blood pressure in order to actually wake up. So, you know, there are like really easy levers to pull that make the next lever that's a little bit more difficult to pull just a little bit easier because now I have a little bit more energy. So it still has to be, like you said, those small changes, but I don't think the changes should be in the direction of a goal necessarily until you feel good and you have enough energy to not crash at 4 o'clock or 3 o'clock or 1 o'clock or whatever throughout the
Right.
day. And figuring out like how to have more vitality and then how to keep your energy managed throughout the day so that you can, I don't know, choose to talk to your best friend on a podcast at whatever time it is right now after, you know, one, two, skip a few things that we did today and have enough energy to be able to riff and talk and do this and that and have meaningful conversations. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that will be step one. And once again, it's a series of mini steps. So I agree with you in that capacity. But yeah, I think that's step one to change. People feel like they just can't change anything. If you're talking about specifics, I think I agree with what you're saying.
Yeah, I just I think that's the thing for me is like I don't know, when you say like people need more energy, it's like people sometimes the steps that need to be taken are to get more energy. So like I don't know, you have to make a change to get out of that, which also takes energy. You know what I mean? It's kind of like a feedback loop of like
It
it's going to
definitely
take
is.
energy to break from my routine of eating shitty foods, but that's in turn going to give me more energy.
Well, that's why people say I hit a breaking point.
Yeah.
I hit a breaking point in the cycle that I was in. The cycle got so bad that it broke and I could either reverse it or at least get it out of it. Yes, you're 100% correct. Like it's a positive feedback loop either way that you're going. So positive feedback loop meaning it feeds itself, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So if I'm making poor decisions around my like lifestyle, we'll just say, it's going to feed more bad decisions around my lifestyle because if I sleep like shit, then I'm going to have a lot more fluctuations in my blood sugar the next day. And if I have a lot more fluctuations in my blood sugar the next day, it's a lot easier for me to like lean into a craving and eat a bunch of chips or eat a bunch of ice cream or eat a bunch, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And that in turn probably means I'm not going to sleep as well because now I have spiked cortisol as I go to bed. It's proven that if I eat a massively sugary thing somewhere around an hour before I go to bed, you have a massive cortisol spike. Anyway, so then you sleep worse the next day again, and then it's just a cycle. And then all the other things that we didn't speak about inside of that cycle occur. But it's also the opposite is true as well. If I make that small decision to start my day with a glass of water and some salt, then I have enough energy to do the next good decision and enough energy to do the next good decision. And then I can stack them on top of each other. But
Right.
there's got to be that one thing that you choose that is or those few things that are your ride or dies, no matter how trash and like busy and like crazy everything is. Those are my ride or dies. I'm going to stick with them no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
So that I have enough energy to do what I want to do and make the next step.
Have you read the book uh Miracle Morning? I was about to say Good Mythical Morning, but that's not it.
An amazing
uh
show. I
yes.
get told I look like Rhett on a daily basis.
Dude, I know. I heard it like 3 times last weekend or like 2 weekends.
Yeah,
Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod, I think his name.
I have not.
Okay. I read it. It was like the first self-help book I read, and it was like in high school. And it was like basically it was like this concept of like the ability to do good things during the day starts with a good morning routine. And that was the first time I had a concept of like, oh, like you should have a morning routine. You should have the things that you do every morning, like no matter what. And he like breaks things down into like is like an acronym called savers. I don't remember everything. It he said like one of them was like scribe. The S was scribe, which you're supposed to journal. E was like exercise. R was read. Um, yeah, I don't remember all of them, but you're supposed to
It's a
like.
lot of shit every morning.
It is a lot of shit, but his whole thing is like, say it sounds like a lot, but he's like any amount of this is better than none of it. Is the point that he tries to make is like you could do an hour every morning where you do each of these for 10 minutes, or you can do 10 minutes or like 6 minutes every morning and do something for a minute for each of these. You know what I mean? Write down 3 things you're grateful for. That's your journaling. That doesn't take very much time. Your meditation, do some box breathing for a minute. Do 10 push-ups or 10 jumping jacks first thing in the morning. Whatever it may be. I don't know. That just popped in my head. I totally forgot about that book. Small things that you can do first thing in the morning, and if you keep those as like your static grounding routine, that'll propel you to do good things during the day.
Makes sense.
It was a cool concept.
That's a cool concept. Nice.
I was gonna ask you something else before that popped into my brain, but I don't remember what it was. Oh well.
I don't know. Maybe it'll come back. Maybe it won't.
Maybe it won't. Oh, I
How
remember what
much
I
you
was gonna
binge?
say.
No, I'm kidding.
You got games on your phone? I feel like that's a good like what you were talking about. There's like a role of like nootropics there. Have we talked about this? Maybe we talked about this.
We talked about it on the Danger Coffee episode.
Oh, I think you're right. Yeah, like nootropics are really good for like they're good for upgrading your already currently upgraded status, but it's also really good, I feel like, for pulling you out of bad times. Like I think Dave Asprey like uh talks about his time on modafinil, I think is what he was taking like before he
Yeah.
invented bulletproof coffee. Like that's what got him out of the rut of like eating like shit and not having enough energy. He was like, it like gave him a boost, and then it got to the point where he didn't need it because he was just
Yep.
giving him a little bit of an extra kick. And now he relies on good foods, bulletproof coffee. Well, that's not
Yes.
entirely true because he does all kinds of wild experiments on his body.
He does
But
do a lot of shit.
before all that happened, it got to a point where it's like I have enough energy, and it's because of bulletproof coffee and eating good foods rather than relying on modafinil.
I'd like to try modafinil.
I'd like to try it too.
There's whole blogs on the internet about how to get it from a doctor. It's pretty ridiculous.
Really?
Yeah, how to like beat the system.
there's
Be messed up.
there's stuff you can order, I think, that's like similar, but I don't know enough about like adrafinil, I think, is something that's
Yeah, I don't know. I
like
don't
a
know anything about
sister
it.
of it.
I know modafinil is pretty heavily studied, so I'd rather go with the more studied one
Right.
than the
Yeah.
less studied one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, shit, I had another thought, but I lost it. Oh, hold on. Let me just take a sec.
HomeBiotic.
HomeBiotic. Okay.
It's a probiotic for your home.
Do you view food from the grocery store as an expense, or do you view food at the grocery store as an investment?
An investment. I don't know if this is the smartest thing in the world, but generally speaking, I have a very general budget on my what I spend at the grocery store, and it's super flexible. And the reason for that is because I don't want myself to feel bad for like reaching for the higher priced meat and the better quality chips over the the Siete brand chips than the Doritos and stuff like that. Like I feel good from a financial perspective personally, to where I don't want to have to worry about that as much as I want to worry about other things. Hey, it's the podcast number one.
Podcast number one. Just being gremlin.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. 100%.
Like
I
it's general. Like I pay attention to what I spend, but I don't
I
cap
don't
it really.
I mean, yes, I pay attention. I'm like, okay. But it's never like, oh God, or like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, let me put this back. 0%
Yep.
chance. Like if I want it and I think that it is something that's going to be nutritious for me and it's going to give me the energy that I want and nourish my body the way that I want and I'm going to enjoy it, guess what? I'm going to fucking buy it. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
And I view it like truly as an investment.
Yeah.
I mean, what the fuck is there that's more important than that?
I
Just
mean,
don't.
not important, but like a gym membership, I'd put on par with that too. Of like should
Sure.
probably keep a
Or
gym
gym
membership
equipment.
or gym equipment. Yeah,
I don't have a gym membership.
I do. It's a climbing gym. It's a little bit different,
Yeah,
and it's more expensive. Um,
true.
but that's a hobby
I don't even,
slash
dude.
fitness.
I don't think a gym membership is nearly close to the investment that you make in food.
That's true. I mean,
Like you
it's
can
like
never
eighty
go to the
percent of
gym
gains
and
comes
be
from the kitchen, is what they said.
extremely well, I know, but just health, just general health. Like
Yeah,
you can be extremely healthy by like walking and doing air squats and like push-ups and pull-ups and you know what I mean?
yeah. Go to a
Picking up
park and
a
get everything you need.
sandbag. Yeah, like and just like walk around. Run up
Yeah,
some stairs, run down some stairs, run up some stairs, and run. You can be super healthy with that, but definitely can't be super healthy with ramen, Doritos, and Snickers only,
yeah,
and Mountain Dew to wash all down. Like it's just you're gonna hit a point where you're fucked.
yeah.
And it's unfortunate that people are skimping at the grocery store, I guess, but that's just my opinion, of course. So
Yeah.
people can do whatever they want to do.
No, I agree. And I feel like thankful that I'm in the financial position that I'm in to be able to say like I don't have to worry about. It's definitely a more
Yes.
privileged standpoint to be in that position. That being said, I do think
Fair.
a lot of people, when they need to cut down on their budgets, they might move to the grocery list before they move to probably some other things that they should cut. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like
Like I would
Netflix
definitely
subscription.
Netflix subscription. Yeah, if they have like multiple subscription services, that would have to go. Eating out at like, you know, fast food places all the time, that's gonna, one, that's bad for your health, and two, you can use that money to get way better food. Replace it at the grocery store. So yeah, I agree.
You know what, man? People should look at the big line items to actually like make a substantial difference. Let's switch over to finances. Like it is the big line items that you can manipulate that would change your budget substantially. Yes, the little stuff will do something, but let's put it this way. If I have 4 subscriptions that are all streaming services and I'm paying, let's say, $25 a month for each one of them, if I cut it down to one, that saves $75 a month, right? On a consistent basis. If you switch from grass fed meat to grain fed meat, I think that would be about a similar difference. And the difference in your health and your fatty acid profile would go way down if I switch from fully grass fed back to fully grain fed. The difference in my, if someone gets emotional happiness and well-being from streaming services, to have one versus four is definitely not a one-to-one comparison from grass-fed to grain-fed, let's say. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
Let's go further. If I have a car that I'm paying $650 a month for, I have heard some fucking crazy car payments before. Like people have told me what their car payments are, and I'm not talking like
It's like rent.
we're not yes, dude, we're not talking Bugattis. We're talking like trucks. You
Yeah.
know, like just a 2020 like decent car, pretty standard, like nothing insane, not a supercar, not some new ass Corvette or something, just a regular ass car. I'm like, it's like nearing my mortgage payment. And they're like, yeah, yeah, it's cool. So I'm like,
No.
that's the stupidest thing I've heard in like a very long time.
You show them your car.
Yeah, and exactly, bro. I'm like, look at this thing.
As long as I've known you and longer, you've been
It's the
driving that
dream
thing.
car. It's a piece of garbage. Why do I need anything other than that piece of garbage? Anyway, if they would just sell that car that they're paying $1,000 a month for, $800 a month for, $600 a month for, so they don't have that 600, 800, $1,000 car payment anymore. Buy something cash with the money they gain from selling the car that they finance. Maybe they get $8,000 for it. You can buy a pretty decent car for $8,000. It's like 8 to 9 years old, maybe 10 years old, depending on the type of car. And it's going to be equally as reliable as that brand new 2022 that you got, equally as safe as the brand new 2022 you got, and way cheaper to insure and way cheaper to fix. And you won't have a monthly car payment on top of that.
Yeah.
And you won't
Yeah.
feel as though you need to get car washes all the time to keep it clean because it's already 10 years old. Who cares? You know what I mean?
That's true.
Like,
that's true. Oh, the cleanliness is not what's wrong with this car.
yeah.
Look at it.
So and let me be clear that there's nothing wrong with having a car payment, but there's a lot of things wrong with thinking you need to cut back, but choosing to cut back on the things that you consume into your body rather than selling the car, getting rid of the $800 car payment, and just getting something that you can pay off in cash. That's where I would say the issue arises. I don't give a shit what anyone does with their money. I don't give a shit what kind of car anyone drives. Do whatever you want. But if you're saying you need to cut back, and these are the same people probably that are complaining that they don't feel good, that they're unhealthy, or that they can't lose weight, or whatever. It's like, what you're thinking is a symptom to a problem is not the symptom to the problem. It is the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
the car one's interesting. I could never wrap my head around spending monthly payments, to lease a car. Like I can't wrap my head, like the things that I would buy for like luxury, I guess like visuals on myself would be like clothes or watches, and I don't even really do that. And it's just like, and those are just one-time payments. Like I can't
yeah.
like a monthly payment like that is just not, I don't know, I can't personally wrap my head around it.
No.
But that's just a me thing.
So unfortunate. Yeah. Why wouldn't you just save money and then buy it cash? Like that's one of the few things. Like I don't agree with that about a house, but in general, like what I feel that way about cars. It's like an interest rate on a car loan is typically a lot less attractive than an interest rate on a mortgage.
A lot of people think it's an investment. Like I remember one of my friends told me,
not even close.
Like 0%, bro.
What? Who said that?
One of my friends.
Tell me off air. Yeah, you gotta tell me off air. That's insane. We need to.
His name and address is.
Yeah, we need to have an intervention with him. We need to have him on the podcast.
Oh,
an investment.
Yeah.
Does he know that? Like, okay, you should pull him up the depreciation curve of cars.
Bro,
you can just Google
did.
depreciation curve of cars.
Right when he told me that, I was like, no way. And I
like,
look
at this. Over 8 years,
bro.
It's lost 70% of its value.
He's like, oh, it's an asset, it's an investment, and I was like, it's not.
No,
it really isn't.
It could be
in the from the debt. Like, I think maybe he was more so going for like an investment in like, oh, I don't have to like worry about taking it to the shop as much. And I'm like, I feel like that's a false
false equivalence. Yes.
Yeah, a false equivalence. It's not
new car does not mean it goes to the shop less.
Yeah,
that's not what that means.
Like you're paying a lot and you have to still go get it, regular inspection, regular tune up, all the normal stuff. So
yeah, and the newer the car is, the higher the value is, and the higher cost it is to insure it. It's a scam, dude.
And the more expensive the like piece, if your car does break, the more expensive the pieces are because it's like a 2022
yes
hardware.
Yeah, dude. To replace a headlight in a new car is so expensive. I thought it was a joke. whenever someone told me, I'm not going to talk about the specific situation, but a headlight was like $25. One headlight was $25. And I was like, nice, you got like a pack of two? That's pretty expensive for a pack of two. And they were like, nope, it was one headlight. And I was like, what? You got scammed.
Yeah.
I figured out it was for a Mercedes.
Ah.
It was one headlight for a Mercedes. It was legitimately $25. Off brand, not Mercedes, off brand, $25. I actually get two headlights for my Honda for like $2. Two brand new headlamps for $2.
Yeah. Dude, you know, I was
It's like
thinking
an
about,
old piece of shit, of course,
you
but
know, I was thinking about the other day was the day that me and you, your car
dude,
battery like
yes.
died or something. So like,
We thought it did.
yeah, we thought it did. We were teaching band at my old high school, and um we thought your car battery died, and we went to go use jumper cables on it, but the jumper cables we used melted.
Dude, it was extremely intense
It was
because I was like,
really
we were
intense.
just talking like not necessarily looking at the jumper cables or the engines. We're just like waiting for the battery to charge up, you know. And I look over and I was like, dude, is that smoke? And you were like, oh
It
my
smelled
God,
weird too. I was like, "What's
it
that
did smell weird. I
smell?"
was like, that's smoke, bro. Yo, I looked a little closer. I was like, those are melting. I was like, dude, we can't touch that. What are we gonna do? So
Yeah.
I opened my trunk and then I have like some old shirts in there.
Oh, that's
And so we
right.
have to
That's what
like
we
put
use.
these shirts around our hand just to hope we don't
And I was
electrocute
just like,
ourselves.
I hope we don't
Dude,
die.
oh
Dude,
my
I was
God,
so
so many
afraid.
sparks. And yeah, and then they got all the like melted plastic all over the shirt, so we just threw the shirts away. And it melted the front of my bumper and the front of the friend of ours bumper who was helping us jump the
Yeah,
car.
that's right.
Oh my God, dude.
Um, yeah, and then
Anyway,
we
it wasn't the
went
battery,
went and
obviously.
got a new battery, and then went and reinstalled it, and that didn't fix it. It's like a fuse
Yeah,
or something, wasn't
I
it?
was freaking out. Yeah, it was like the master fuse.
Yeah.
So yeah, we replaced the battery, and I was like, dude, it's still not working. What's happening? I was like, hold on, fuse box.
Yeah.
So we went back to the auto parts store. Oh, yeah, I forgot about this part. Dude, this was so cringe. This is such a typical auto parts store story. Sorry if you work in an auto parts store, but this is every auto parts store employee. I went in there. I found out like the specific voltage I needed or whatever for the fuse, and I was like, okay, I need a 100-volt fuse or whatever. And the guy was like, "Oh, we ain't got none of them, but we got 120. You pop that bad boy in, I tell you what, it'll start right up. Let me tell you what." And I was like, "No, dog, I'm not gonna do that. Sounds like a recipe for disaster." And he was like, "Well, you just trust me now." And I was like, "No. Can you check in the back if you've got any extras?" Because they were like, "We don't have any in the system." And I was like, "Could you just check in the back for me? I just want you to like walk back there because there's like all these shelves and you haven't looked at any of them." And they were like, "We can look in the back, but we really don't think there's any." And I was like, "All right, I'll see you in a second after you look at the back." So they come back and he comes back with a two handfuls of these fuses. And he was
I
like,
forgot about
"Dude,
this.
we've got this two handfuls of fuses." And I was like, "All right." It makes a lot of sense to me because you have all anyway. I was like, "Yes, I figured that there was some back there."
Yeah.
And he was like, "Yeah." So he tries to ring them up and he was like, "Oh man, these are like discontinued. So they're just shown as like the specific item number where it's like they don't carry this anymore. They just have it in stock and they can sell it." So it was like 3 cents or something for each one of them when normally they were supposed to be like $5 each. So he's
Forgot
like,
about this.
"You just want all of them? They're like less than $1 for all of them." And I was just like, "Yeah, sure, dude. Why not?" So I still have them.
Oh, nice.
So just in case that master fuse ever blows again.
You got it. You got the part.
I've got
That's so
extras.
funny. You want all of them? Less than $1.
Yeah. Oh, dude, you remember we've replaced it? We replaced one of them and it like exploded immediately.
Exploded. Yeah, I forgot
Yeah,
about
the
that
fuse
too.
just exploded immediately, and then I had to. Thankfully, that's why we got all of them because I was like, you never know.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Yeah, if I would have just got one, then we go back, I would have
And
raged, bro.
if it was a newer car, that would have been way more expensive, that fuse.
Oh, for
Like
sure.
way more.
Yes, for sure. Anyway,
Anyway,
well,
bringing it back.
here we are.
Yes. Here we
Same
are.
car.
Look at that.
That's what
That
we like to
art
see.
piece I got in the back.
Look at that, dude. That's crazy.
It's crazy.
All right, what's your next thought, Sean? Got any more?
Have you ever watched the show Only Murders in the Building? Speaking of
Sounds
streaming
fake.
services,
No, I have not.
you should. Sorry, it was just a random thought I had before the podcast. I
Oh,
think there was something related as to
I
why I
have
wanted to
not.
ask about this. It's a Hulu shit. Do you have Hulu? Maybe you don't have Hulu.
I think we do.
Okay.
Hulu has live sports, and we watch some basketball in there every now and then. I don't think it's our Hulu. I think it's
Oh,
someone
gotcha.
else's Hulu.
Gotcha. I use the same.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a good show. You and Kendall should watch it. It's a good one.
I'm so bad at watching shows though. Is it like really captivating?
I think it's pretty captivating. It's a mystery. Basically it's about these like three people who live in this apartment building. Somebody gets murdered, and while this is happening, the three of them are obsessed with like a murder podcast that they all listen to, and they're like talking about it. And once this murder occurs, they're like, we should start our own podcast. So the whole show is them like doing this podcast but trying to solve this murder, and each season is like its own like murder, and there's 2 seasons, and it's pretty good.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah,
Interesting.
it's a pretty cool concept. I like it. It's like
I like it too.
Steve Martin, Martin Short, and Selena Gomez are the main like three
Sounds pretty
stars,
funny.
which was like an interesting. When I saw that, I was like, that's an interesting three. I was skeptical, but I actually was like very captivated. So recommend
That's
it.
funny. Steve Martin.
Yes. If anybody has watched that, then let us know in the chat. Let us know what you think.
Yeah, let us know. Let us know. Dude, I just had a thought and I lost it.
That's
what
all
were
I
you
got.
saying a second ago?
Only Murders in the Building, Selena Gomez, Martin Short, podcasts, podcat. I didn't say that, but podcat. Hulu.
No.
Sports. Keywords.
No, it's just some random thought, dude. Okay. Just some random. It just popped in my head.
I hope it comes back.
Damn it.
That is all the thoughts I had written down.
That's it?
Yeah, that's all I got.
Man, I had one. It's gone. I guess that's it. We did decide, once we're out of thoughts.
Once we're out of thoughts, that's the end of the episode.
That's the end of the episode. So I guess we got to stick to our guns and the end of the episode.
It was a good one. That was fun.
It was a good one.
I enjoyed that.
If you enjoyed it, go ahead and like the video and comment, and
yeah, let us know what you've been thinking about this week. Unless you have any topic suggestions.
If you've been thinking about Patreon, and you've been thinking about becoming a patron on our Patreon, the link is in the description, and I'll put it in we'll put it in the pinned comment down there. Okay. Dude, I had a good thought when I fucking lost it. It'll come back at some point, maybe never. All right, ready to wrap it up? All right. It's been your best friends. It's awesome. And
it's shot.
We love you.
We love you.